Hi, it's time for another verb of the day. Today's verb is install. Let's take a moment and review some of the definitions or ways that we can use this verb. The first way you may encounter the verb install could mean to place or fix equipment or machinery in a particular position to make it ready for use. You'll hear this verb used in connection to bringing in new equipment, replacing maybe old equipment. You'll hear it used to describe things that are being built. Um, uh, and many other ways, but those are some of the major things tied to that first definition. A second way to use the verb install could mean to load software into a computer. Now, the second definition I would say is even expanding because I'm sure you've been asked, do you want to install an app on either a tablet or phone? But it's all connected to that idea of you're loading or bringing in this software into a computer. A third way you might encounter the verb install being used could mean to establish someone in a new place, condition, or role. We sometimes see this verb being used to describe maybe a person who's coming in as president of a particular organization. Um, Maybe they've been elected or selected. Sometimes you'll hear it uh, used, again, I would say with more kind of leadership type roles or positions. For now, you should know that install is a regular verb. If you want to make the progressive form of this verb, all you need to do is add ing, and that forms installing. The past tense and the participle form of this verb can be made by adding ed. Our base verb, install, ends in a voiced L sound. This means the ed ending is just going to make a D sound. I'm not going to add an extra syllable when I pronounce it. The past tense and the participle form of the verb should sound like this: installed, installed. Okay. Now, I do have a couple phrasal verbs that you might encounter. The first is to install as. This phrasal verb is going to connect to that third definition. So you're formally inducting someone into a particular office or role. An example of this might be, she will be installed as the new mayor next month. So this is saying she's going to sort of officially or formally step into that position. Another phrasal verb you might encounter is to install in. This is frequently going to go back to our second definition. So we're inserting some sort of device or machine into someone or something. And I would say also to the first definition, my example is going to connect best to that. It says, they installed a new range in the kitchen last week. So it's suggesting they inserted this piece of equipment. Now let's move on and do a little verb tense practice. Today we're going to review the imperative and the simple future. Let's start with the imperative. Some people may know this as giving a command, and it's rather unique in English because we do not have a stated subject when we give these commands. Our subject is implied, or we understand that it's either you singular or you plural, depending on how many people to whom I am speaking. So when I go to make an affirmative sentence in the simple I'm sorry, when I go to make an affirmative sentence in the imperative, what I'm going to do is start with my verb, and I'm just going to use the base form, no suffixes. However, something students frequently tell me when I practice this in class with them is that it feels sort of rude to just speak so directly. So you'll see in my example here, I've added the word please at the beginning. That can, if that helps you feel more comfortable as you're communicating, do that, right? So my example here says, please install the new locks today, right? So uh, Maybe this is someone who works in like facilities, a supervisor talking to an employee, or maybe it's a homeowner talking with some sort of construction sort of builder type, but they're giving this command. Now you could also insert the word please at the end of the sentence, but just one please per sentence. Okay. Now let's talk about making a negative imperative sentence. To do this, you're going to start with do not and then the base verb. Okay. You can also use a contraction like I have in my example here. Don't install the new software right now. Right? So sometimes those processes might slow down other things that are going on in the background of a computer, or maybe something's not quite right to begin. So we're giving that command not to do the particular action. Now, there are no yes or no questions. The imperative is all about telling someone to either do or not do a particular action. So we can move on and make some sentences in the simple future. Today we're going to focus on sentences with be going to. Be going to is most commonly used as people discuss their plans, but they can use it to make promises or offers as well. When we make sentences with be going to, we must pay attention to our subject. That's because we'll be using a present form of be, and we have three forms of be in the present. So if your subject is I, you'll use am, going to, and then the base verb. If your subject is you, we, or they, we'll use are, A-R-E, going to, and then the base verb. And finally, if your subject is he, she, or it, use is going to, and then the base verb. And an example of this might be the software is going to install automatically. So this might be someone's plan. It may also be a bit of a promise or prediction of what's going to occur here. Now, if you want to make a negative simple future sentence, again, we've got to pay attention to our subject. We start with that subject. You use the form of be that matches, followed by not, going to, and then that base verb. Here's another example. I'm not going to install any apps without reading about their security and data sharing policies first. So some people have sort of made this plan based on realizing how much information may be transmitted or shared with tech companies or the owners of particular apps. Now, finally, let's talk about making a yes or no question in the simple future. To do this, you'll start with your form of be, whatever form matches your subject, that comes next, followed by going to, and then the base verb. Here's my last example. Are the builders going to install the plumbing or HVAC next? So here, someone's asking about that plan, maybe as a particular home or maybe office building, something like that, is being constructed. Now, let's spend a moment looking at some words that are related to our verb install. The first word we're going to start with is the noun form installation. This noun can also have a number of different meanings. We'll talk about three of them. One way to use the noun installation is to refer to that action or process of installing someone or something or of that thing being installed. So an example of how you might hear this used in a sentence could be, installation will take about an hour. So you might hear that if you have maybe ordered a new piece of equipment. Someone's going to come and bring it into your home and set it up so that it's working. A second way to use the noun installation is to talk about a large piece of equipment that is installed or put into use. An example of this might be, computer installations will occur next week. So that might be communication that's being shared out amongst a team or organization. A third way to use the noun installation is going to sound very different, but it's used with art exhibits that are constructed within a particular gallery or space, and they might be there for limited periods of time. So, an example of this will be the installation will be on display all through the month of March. Someone's discussing that plan or discussing a particular exhibit that can be viewed. Another related word you might encounter is the noun installer. This is a person who places or fixes equipment or machinery and they get it ready to be used. An example of this might be the window installers will be here later this afternoon. So here we know exactly what they are responsible for positioning and getting ready. Windows. One more word for us today. It's another noun. It's installment. Now these words have the verb install, the noun installation, and the noun installment all seem to have the same origin, but I'm going to point out the noun here is going to seem very different than anything else we've talked about now. So, one way to use the noun installment is to refer to a sum of money that's due as one of equal payments for something spread out over an agreed period of time. So you might hear people talking about an installment loan. So the idea is you're going to pay back a certain amount, and that amount stays the same over the course of a period. You might also hear of installment payments, which really connects to my example here. So someone might say the first installment is due on March 1st. So they're expecting money on that particular day. Now, a second way to use the noun installment could refer to any of several parts of something which are published, broadcast, or made public in a sequence at sort of a specified interval. So sometimes you might see this with books or other stories. It might be things that are on TV, maybe a movie that is planned to be made in several different parts. So someone might ask you, have you read the second installment? So kind of a continuation of a particular story that maybe the writer or the publisher has chosen to break into those parts. Well, thank you so much for watching today's verb. I hope you have a great day.